Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have hit episode 50 of Just Joshing. Cue the Final Fantasy victory music. I did it, 50 episodes. I am your host, Joshua Pentelarusco. I write stuff, I podcast too, and I also publicize. Since I am a publicist, let me publicize my clients right now. Chris Mars has recently launched her website, worldwideweb.hauntedmars.com. HAUNTEDMARRS.com. Go there, meet her, sign up for a newsletter, engage her. She's cool. She's the author of a couple novellas, Wild Woman and Everything Leads Back to Alice. But she's also got one coming up in the fall that she hasn't really talked about too much, and that more will be coming there soon. Check her out. You can follow her at Twitter at Chris_Mars. CHRIS_MARRS. Check her out. She's cool. Tell her I sent you. My other client, Craig DeLuey, he's got a couple things on the go here. He's doing an ebook series called Crash Dive. Books 1 and 2, Crash Dive and Silent Running, deals with World War II. It's honor ratio and submarines. If you like World War II, submarines, you like, engaging, military historical fiction, check it out. It's awesome stuff. He's also got currently a poetry collection called Children of God. He co-wrote with Jonathan Moon. It's about the Family of God cult, using poetry therapy to recount their experiences from formation to the finale, proving once again that sometimes even cults come and go. Sometimes the cult itself stays with you forever. Chilling stuff. You should check him out at craigdelouie.com, CraigDelouie.com. And you should follow him at Twitter at Craig DeLuey. He's a cool dude. Also, really fun guy. Check them out. Good authors, amazing talents, both of them. I'm really thrilled that they have me. Okay, we have now hit episode 50. Like I said, Final Fantasy music. I might even just do this in the edits here. So you might just see a random because I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I like that. That's what I grew up playing. It was my junk food of choice, and there are far worse things. Well, this episode, I am going to be celebrating episode 52, and I haven't really gone into too much detail. There's a special guest, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to do is kind of turn the tables. I got the amazing Taya Van Diepen to interview me. Speaking of which, she's got a Kickstarter going on right this minute. You should go follow it. Like mist over her eyes, she's really close to making her goal. Go check it out. But yeah, she's going to be interviewing me, asking some questions. It's going to be kind of a lot of fun. It was a fun little interview I did last week. I'm just piling up stuff. Everything seems to be ramping up for me, which is really good. I still got some big decisions to make. And it's interesting because, like I said, it's one of those things where I'm pondering things, and some of them are really good. Writing-wise, I'm doing a fun little collaboration with Virginia Stark, who's been on the show. We're kind of just getting into it bit by bit. I actually got to get going on that as soon as I'm done here. Beyond that, I have another short story I have to write this weekend, so I'm going to be writing pretty much all weekend long, which is going to be cool. I'm also getting myself finally on the message boards. You're going to be seeing me doing a lot more of an online presence visibly. I'm going to be promoting my clients' work in different venues, which is going to be good. Like I said, the next few months for me is just going to be about maintaining what I'm doing, which is growing and maintaining my momentum and carrying me wherever it's going to go. Beyond all that, I'm still behind on some things. Like I said, I do have a tour date. I'm going to be doing the podcast live. It'll probably be the last show I do this year. Just Joshing Live will be at November 10th at Owl's Nest Books. I have not really announced any guests yet. Haven't really asked anybody yet that would like to actually go up there and make a fool of themselves on the show with me. I'm going to do my best to recruit some people. If you know anybody, feel free to contact me. I would happily have them there. Beyond all that, yeah, like I don't know, my initial plan for the fall has kind of fallen through, and that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I'm still going to be doing some things. I'm still going to be doing some promotional things, like Edmonton Expo I'm doing this month. At the end of the month, I'm going to be doing a couple of other things between now and the end of the year. Like I said, Owl's Nest Books. But all in all, I'm just slowly establishing and preparing myself for next year, because it looks like next year I'm going to be releasing a lot of new material, and keep marketing and building myself up. If you like what you've been hearing, I don't do this enough, so I'm going to say this: subscribe on iTunes, subscribe to Podomatic, review my books, Storm Dancer and The Watcher. I'm going to probably do something about that, talk about that stuff in the foreseeable future as well. Kind of some things I'm doing there. But yeah, like I said, it's all moving forward, and that's the goal. Now, there was a Mickey Mickelson's this week's guest. He was originally on the podcast already. I had to take the episode down for at his request. I'm putting it back up now. He's a publicist. He's making a huge impact in the Calgary community. He is in a very admirably been very aggressive in his recruitment. He's representing a lot of people. He's doing what he can to get the word out there, and you can't help but admire a guy that's doing it. Like I say, he's not currently my publicist. That's my own reasons for that. But it doesn't change the fact that he's done a lot of good things for a lot of great authors in this community, and I feel that now that whatever hiccup he was going through has been resolved, I can put the episode back up in its entirety. Keep in mind, the only real change is I am no longer being represented by him, so the conversation is a little outdated. But beyond all that, it's not. Like I said, I have my own reasons. It's not because I had some of my own decisions I needed to make, and I had to make some big ones. And like I said, there's some things even personally, as a publicist myself, I need to learn. And I feel right now, at least I'm better on my own. That could change tomorrow. I could go back to Mickey. If Mickey will have me, I could go back tomorrow. But I'm not so sure. I think for now, I'm best on my own, and that's kind of how I'm going to keep it for the time being. But like I said, one never knows what the future. And again, doesn't take away from the fact that people like Sarah Johnson, people like G.W. Renshaw, who's been on the podcast, J.J. Reichenbach, Rebecca Raymond, these people are benefiting greatly from Mickey and what he's doing here in Calgary. So, I mean, like I said, it's not a terrible thing to see someone like this aggressively promoting some really, really, in my opinion, underrated talent that I see here. It's almost. I could do a soapbox on this, and but I'm gonna save it for next week. My guest for episode 51 will be On Spec Magazine. I want to talk about. Now I'm going to focus about talent in Canada, because what bothers me, especially about how I see Canada invest in Canadians, and it bothers me personally a lot. It always has, and I want to talk about that in great detail. So, but the long and short of it is, we need people like Mickey out there that are willing to go out of their way to promote talented, amazing people. And like I said, I wish him nothing but the best. So, on with the chat, and like I said, we'll be back after these messages, and we'll talk a little bit more about what's happened in the next few weeks on the podcast real soon. Okay. I am sitting here with publicist extraordinaire Mickey Mikkelson. Did I say that right?
You did.
Woohoo! I hate that kind of personally, because my last name being what it is, I always feel bad when I screw up a name. Cause it's just one of those things where I go, I should not mess that up, because then it's like, because I have this long name that people had to use and stuff. Yeah. So how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on today, John.
Oh, no problem. And like I said, with nothing but good things. So I could ask this.
Sure.
How'd you get into this part of the business, the publicity side of the business?
I worked at Chapters in the early 2000s. I was the event coordinator for the store in St. Albert. Met a lot of people that way. We did a lot of multifunctional events, made some contacts, got out of it for a little bit, and then a friend of mine I work with now, she wrote a book. She asked me if I can do a couple signings for her. 2 signings turned into 8 signings, and she sold over 108 books one weekend.
Nice.
And when that all happened, a number of my writer friends who I knew from my previous time at Chapters reached out, and I thought, can you do the same thing for me? They asked. And I thought, there might be a market or a niche for this. So talked to my wife, talked to my family a little bit, talked to some of my friends. They're like, yeah, you should totally do this. So set up my company, Creative Edge, and the rest is history. And I mean, it's been fantastic. I've got easily 15 to 20 writers I'm representing. I've got key marketing opportunities with other publishers, and two of them being Edge Publishing, and I just signed a deal with Opal today. So things are amazing.
Yeah. So what has been the biggest surprise for you so far doing this?
Just how open people are in trying to figure out stuff. I think I have a niche in this marketplace because my services are going to be geared towards one specific people or genre. I truly believe that the indie authors, who are very, very talented, they know how to write, they know how to present their books in that aspect, but the majority of writers don't know how to market their books, or they don't have time to market their books, which is probably the key part. What I do is I take a lot of that onus off of them. They give me dates, I book signings for them, I set up media exposure for them. I even have sometimes role-playing with some of my writers, telling them how they should be selling their books. And at the end of the day, most of the stuff that we do together, collaborating between me and the writers, it works. There's the odd time where something's not going to work properly, but it's because we've experimented. Mm-hmm. And it's all based on communication. I'm a big believer in communication, and if something doesn't work, let's talk about it so we can do better the next time. But overall, things have been very, very successful.
Cool. Now, like I said, I met you at Owl's Nest.
You did?
Yeah. So I guess, and have you actually read my books? Out of curiosity.
I haven't had a chance. I'm sorry. I've been so busy with everything. But I will make a mental note to do that.
No, it's cool. That way. I was just wondering because, look, for those of you that don't know, listeners, Mickey, I am one of Mickey's clients. Right?
Yep, you are.
Yes, and I guess I'll ask this question. So, why did you want to represent me?
It's all an attitude, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can read your books and get an understanding of what you're writing and look at the covers and notice that they're very marketable, which is part of what I look at. But as you know, Josh, when we first sat down together, I insisted that we have a sit down. We have a discussion about what your goals and objectives are. And if they're not going to match with what I see as a vision, or if it's something I can't do, then I can't represent you. It just wouldn't work. I've done that before, and it hasn't worked in the past with certain individuals. So what I look at when I'm talking with writers is I look at their attitude, I look at their vision of what they want to do, where they want to go, what kind of things they want to do from a publicity marketing standpoint. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we shake hands and say thanks. Mm-hmm. That's the vision.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I'm glad to be part of this because Lord knows I need all the help I can get.
No, clearly not. Clearly not.
Well, no. I think, like I said, this is the hardest part for a lot of writers to get. Because the other thing too is, as a writer, you put yourself out there with your work, and although your work's always very personal, there is somewhat degree like a buffer, if you know what that means.
I agree.
It's a book. The moment you're out there and you're talking to people, that can be, for a lot of people, scary. I've been put in situations where I've learned to deal with it a lot better than I think a lot of other authors have.
For sure.
But even so, there's still times I just get, you just get a little nervous meeting people. It's just the natural part of the deal. So were you ever that way at one point when you started with Chapters?
No, I was at Chapters for 2 years, a year and a half. Well, not quite a year and a half. I guess a year and a little bit over. My manager at the time basically said, the Alberta Centennial's coming up. We don't have anybody to coordinate events. Can you try your hand at this? I'm like, sure. How much time do I have to devote or whatever? And he's like, whatever you need. We need a couple authors. We need 3 or 4 authors for the Alberta Centennial for that week. Well, I got 3 authors a day, so we had 21 authors in the span of a week. And it was just networking and not being afraid to make phone calls. And I'm doing that now with this. I'm not afraid to call any media outlet. I'll call the New York Times. I'll call Fangoria for an author. I'll call anybody. And if they say no, what's the harm? At least I tried, right?
Wait, you don't have nothing. I mean, same thing when I ask for interviews. I look at it this way. I don't have anything right before when I'm asking. Right, I have
That's
nothing.
right.
But so if they say no, I'm with exactly what I had when I started. So I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of the interview process, as you know, Josh, we went through this.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I always ask every writer that I'm hoping to represent is, how many books do you sell when you're at a signing? Are you profiting? And a lot of the responses they'll say is, well, I'm booking all these signings. I'm like, okay. And you're going to these signings? Yes. Are you selling any books? Are you making any money? And sometimes those same writers who say, I know how to market myself, say, well, no, I'm actually losing money. I'm like, well, isn't that a bit of a problem? Because you're booking all these, you're taking all the time to book all these events, and you're going to these places. And you're seeing 20, 30, 40 people maybe come by your table, maybe even 10, I don't know. But you're only selling 3 or 4 or 5 books. To me, there's a break in the process there. So part of what I do is to have that conversation and find out what their spiel is, what conversations they're actually having, and modify it so that instead of selling or converting 20% of the sales with the people who come to the tables, now you're converting 40 to 60%, which in turn will cause you to start profiting for what you're doing. That's part of what I do. Now, some writers have also said to me, well, can you stay by my table for the entire setting? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because it wrecks the writer's mojo. It affects what they're trying to do. They're trying to promote their books. Their customers, case in point, don't need to see 2 or 3 people at their table. It's aggressive. So that's part of it.
Well, no, it's well, yeah. The other thing too is, and we were just discussing this earlier in there. It's not healthy.
It's not.
It's really not. You have to, especially today. This is no longer an era where writers, like, there's big stores, big writers, and there's like a big line. It's not that era anymore. We live in an era now where we have to be much more interactive with people, especially with the way social media is today. Especially with the way just the business itself is. I mean, a lot of publishers want writers to promote their own stuff.
That's most of them, even the big 5.
Yeah.
Even the big 5.
Yeah, especially the big 5. Because the way the big 5 look at it is, we would love to promote you, but if you're not going to promote yourself, how are you going to stand up in the 10,000 books that are coming out from just from the Amazon ebook viewer program?
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why someone like myself, I think, is essential, because writers want to write.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what they do. They write books. They don't want to spend 30, 40, 50% of their time trying to promote themselves, getting into stores, getting media exposure, all of that. And it's a lot of work.
And again, it's just, there's only so much time in the day. I mean,
exactly.
one of the biggest things with me is I'm good at promoting myself on a level, but even just doing what I'm doing, I'll go sometimes till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still
doing that myself. Then.
Yeah. I mean, that's the gig, right?
Exactly.
But it's the gig. But I mean, one person trying not only just to create stuff, because you have to book the time for that. You have to also. Most writers have day jobs, which is and you yourself have a day job at this point.
I do, yeah.
For the time being, and so that eats up so much time. Then you have to do your standard correspondence with whatever the case may be, and then by the time you've done that, like as a writer, I'm like, I would like to get hold of Owl's Nest books, but I've already just ate through like 20 hours in the day doing everything else I'm doing, and it's like I and then at some point I have to sleep just a little bit,
Hello, Creative Edge. I need some help, please.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But especially, I mean, it just happened to me this last month. I'm like, I need all the help I can get now, because it just evolved, the way.
I get it.
Yeah.
For sure.
But beyond all that, so what is your long-term vision with this? Do you have? I'm assuming you have one.
I just want to help indie writers promote their books. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. And I've said to people, and they've heard this, all my clients have heard this, I don't want to represent you on just one So I could charge an exuberant amount of money up front because I know the service is needed, and say, I'm going to get you at this location, I'm going to get you this media, I'm going to get you, you're going to sell this many books. I'm going to take whatever amount it is, $400, $800, $1,000, $1,600. You're going to go to these places and not sell any books, and you're going to lose some money, plus you're paying me. And I don't really think that's fair. So I've said to people, I want to promote you not on just one book, but I want to promote you on all your books. Mm-hmm. So try me out. If you like what you see and if you're making some money, pay me my fees, which are very, very minuscule. They're very reasonable. Mm-hmm. But I want to be able to build that relationship and have that connection. And that's my long-term goal. Now, if this turns out full-time and I can make a lot of money and I can quit my day job because this is my passion, fantastic.
And I admire that. So,
but at the same time, if I don't do that, you know what? It's okay. Because I've met a lot of great literary minds here in Calgary and actually across Canada, and they want to use my services. And I know I have the loyal fan client base that I'm going to be able to represent them not on just one book, but on virtually everything else that they write going forward. Mm-hmm. And I think my process is good. And I'm not going to change that aspect.
No.
Now I'm going to start charging people, which I haven't been doing. Yes, that's going to happen. But again, my rates are very, very, very reasonable. And I think they're genuine as well. So that's my long-term vision.
That's cool. And good luck. Actually, I'm going to ask this just as an aside.
Absolutely.
Because you're a big book. You had to be a big book fan when you started. What's the stuff before you got into all this crazy business aspect? What was your favorite stuff you like to read?
I like to read a lot of Stephen King. I like to read a lot of Robert J. Sawyer, who's also a friend of mine. So that helps in that aspect. I'm privy to the horror genre. That's really what I enjoy reading.
Okay.
I also like watching horror films, so that's maybe part of that.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I gotta ask this then. Are you the guy that likes the blood, guts, and gore, or do you like the old Hitchcock terror?
Hitchcock's my fave.
Yeah.
I love Vertigo. Vertigo's a great film.
Oh wow, cool.
And then beyond that, I'm also a big comic book buff as well. So I mean,
what are you reading right now? When you have a chance to read,
book-wise or comic-wise?
Both.
I'm reading the Great Darkness Saga, Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that.
I love that.
When I was a kid, I seriously, I had this big stack of Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, like the old.
Yeah.
That stuff's some of the best stuff in comics.
Yeah, and I just actually finished Suicide Stitch by Sarah L. Johnson. Great book.
Fantastic book.
One of my clients as well. She was amazing. And
I really want her on this podcast at some point because she is such a character, like as a person.
We'll have to find a way to arrange that.
Yeah, because she's such a good person, but she's also like quite a character, and I think it would be amazing for people that to listen to her as an author.
Well, here's a plug. Stay tuned. She'll be on here soon. More to come.
Right.
FYI.
Oh yeah.
But that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
so
that's really, really good. So beyond all that, okay, if people were trying to find you. Let's say what is your website, social media, and all other fun stuff.
I don't have a website yet. That'll be built in August.
This will air during that time. So if you want to just put the site in now, even I can make sure this comes out.
I haven't got an URL yet, so I won't plug that. But I'm on Twitter, Mickey.CreativeEdge, Twitter. I have a Facebook page as well.
Okay.
And I have a number of writers. I'm going word of mouth, and that's how this has happened. I've given great service to a number of writers, and they've referred me. So you can talk to Josh, or you can talk to Sarah L. Johnson at the Owl's Nest, or a number of different people, and it's been really, really good. Plus, I just contracted with Opal Publishing today, so you can go onto their website. My corporate logo is there, and talk to them too.
Well, on that note, I'm going to wish you the best of luck with everything you've done.
Thanks for this, by the way, as well.
No problem. And beyond all that, I guess we'll see what the future holds. I hope you get to your full-time dream.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Give me a second here.
And that is Mickey Mikkelson. Check him out at CreativeEdge.com. You can find him on Facebook. Twitter, he's at Mickey Creative. If you're interested in representation, give him a shout. Like I said, he's doing a lot of good for the city of Calgary, particularly the writing community. So, you know what? I can wish him nothing but the best of luck. And that is this week's episode of Just Joshing. It's a short one this week, but that's the way it goes sometimes. The thing of it is, like I said, episode 51 is going to be talking to On Spec Magazine. I'm going to be, like I said, it's going to be it's going to be a good one. I hope you guys stay tuned. It's the first of my One Words Collide conversations. I did quite a few interviews during that stretch, and probably for September and October and part of November, you're going to be hearing quite a few of them. Some of the guests in the next few weeks, some returns. GW Renshaw, we actually do a proper full-fledged conversation, and it's great, and I really enjoyed it. Vanessa Cardaway returns. We sang off on each other's poems. Great. Chadwick Ginther will be the first guest I have from When Words Collide. There's a lot of new people too. Adams Reese, which was probably my favorite conversation of that whole weekend. Ron Bender, I'm really proud of the dude because he's gone and made a huge impact on. I've been watching Ron write for a long time, and like he's a machine. He is a true writing machine. And it's kind of cool to finally see his own books going. Like I said, just a whole bunch of really fun, neat people. I was really privileged to chat with. One of my personal favorites that I haven't mentioned yet is grabbing the book right now because I was really, really impressed. H. Leighton Dixon. Oh, it was such a fun conversation. We actually talked about. I got to talk comics with her. It was really fantastic because she was from a really neat era. She actually did comics work, and it was a really neat era. So all in all, some really, really, really cool people, and I was privileged to have them all. But next week is on spec. The week after is going to be something really special. Well, it'll be my 52nd episode. I've been doing this for a year. Kind of scary, actually, how quickly time flies. But yes, I've been doing this for nearly a year. So thanks, everybody. Talk to you all next week. Like I said, if you like anything, buy books, leave some reviews. Buy my clients' books by Craig and Chris. Check out my shirts and merchandise at Redbubble. More and more, though, just stay inspired out there, folks. There's a lot of cool things you can do and become if you just believe you can do it. All right, that's it. See you soon.
Josh.